Today is February 9th. Today's quote is entitled, "Becoming a Slave of Krishna." The aspiration of the pure devotee is to be a slave of Krishna, and the aspiration of the materialist is to be master. As conditioned souls trying to be Krishna conscious, we fall somewhere in the middle. Surrender is the sweetest position, but due to conditioned thinking, we may fear it, see it as unpleasant, or even be afraid of it. Have you ever heard the saying, sweet surrender? Sweet, sweet surrender. So, a devotee's aspiration is to be a slave. Isn't that interesting? Just, Krishna, just use me. But love is slavery. If you love someone, if you completely love someone, basically you become their slave. You just want to do whatever they want. You want to live for their pleasure. So that's what it means to be a devotee. Live only for Krishna's pleasure, and if we live only for Krishna's pleasure, then naturally we're happy to be Krishna's slave. That's spiritual consciousness. Isn't that nice? And material consciousness, to be the master. So surrender, like this word surrender. Sometimes we don't like this word surrender, but the reality is surrender happens everywhere. Existence cannot happen without surrender. You surrender to your boss, or you surrender to your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your children. You surrender your money to the government. You surrender your life to a company. You surrender your money to the grocery store. So it's really not a question of whether to surrender or not. It's who are we going to surrender to? So if the word surrender makes us feel a little weird, realize that the more we have love for anything, the more we're surrendered to it. Just like I may have a guitar, and I may be surrendered to the guitar. I play the guitar all the time. I'm surrendered to it. I'm controlled by it. I love it. I think about it. So wherever there's affection for anything, it controls us. Even Krishna is controlled by love. So as a devotee is Krishna's slave, Krishna is also the slave of the devotee. That's just the way it works. So, our aspiration is to be the slave of Krishna. Our aspiration, our sweet spot, is that spot where we can give everything to Krishna, knowing that if I don't give everything to Krishna, I'm going to give everything to someone, or I'll give everything to myself. I'll just work hard for myself. I'll work hard for my sense gratification. And working hard for our sense gratification is difficult because it won't make us happy. So we'll just be working our whole life to get a little pleasure. And we become the center and we're serving our senses. And Shastra gives this example. I forget who it was. Said, my senses are masters, but they're not very kind because I serve them and they're never satisfied. They're always whipping me, do more, do more, do more. So surrender to the senses. Surrender to the husband, the wife, the government, the master, the job, the boss, the country, the hobby. I'm surrendered to my hobby, surrender to my passions, my habits. We're going to surrender. But at least let us remember that our ultimate aspiration should be to be a slave, a divine slave. Divine slavery is my aspiration. Hare Krishna.